Hello there, I'm Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and in this video we're taking a look at the Tesla stock earnings for Q1 2023. That's right, tomorrow is the big day in the after hours, so if you're going to position yourself for the earnings play, or even if you're investing, I think that this is going to be an exciting video to watch. Not only will we talk about technical analysis, but we'll also take a look at my Tesla stock price prediction. It's one that I shared over at my Patreon. You can find the link for that down in the description if you want that exclusive access. I will share it with you here on YouTube prior to what we see coming up for that. And I gotta say, I think it's fairly well assembled and it was a lot of fun to put together, and I'm excited to bring it to you. So you'll be seeing it through the Moe app, so you can find the link down in the description for that. So here's the deal. I'll go over the highlights of it later in this video, so make sure that you stick around for that. Let's switch over to the spreadsheet. Here we go. So this is what I have, and I'm not going to hit all the numbers here, but you can see the production deliveries that we have, and then revenue. And I heard expectations are coming in at about 23 billion. These values are in millions of dollars, by the way, and that's pretty much where I had it priced as well. And this is calculated numbers. This one is based off the automotive revenue from the number of EVs, and I use some weighted averages. If you want to check that out, this is available over at my Patreon. Like I said, you could do that. But I do have gross profit coming in, auto gross profit coming in at about 20.8%, total gross margin 18.6%. Operating margins right around 18 as well. Net income to shareholders, this is the big one, that bottom line that we're looking at. That net income attributable to shareholders coming in at just under $3 billion, so $2.744 billion. Now, I do have, you can see it in the comments how that was calculated. What I do want to tell you is that for these values, I believe that I was using some really good numbers to try and get a really accurate depiction of what it is that we're going to see based on some historic results that we have. So if Tesla is able to significantly cut earnings, then we're going to see this 70 cents per share, and these are GAAP EPS that we're looking at here. And when we look at non-GAAP, that should be a higher number for that one. So, but when we look at GAAP EPS, 70 cents, that's about 10% lower than the average estimate that's out there right now. So when I say conservative, I don't believe at all that this is bearish, but I do believe that it is something that, because of all the price cuts that we saw, is a total possibility. And you can see this is the previous quarter. They came in at $1.07 per share. That is a 35% quarter over quarter decline in that EPS. And well, when we go back to net income, that's about negative, that's a 26% decline. So if we do come out to this value, 70 cents per share, even at their current multiple that they're trading at, that multiple would have to increase significantly in order to keep us at around that $185 that the market closed at today on Tesla. So it is possible that in the short term, we get a significant decline in Tesla stock price. And if you're bullish on Tesla, that can be a buying opportunity. But if you're bearish on Tesla, you can tell people, "Ha, I told you so." You know, it all depends where you're positioned on that one. Now, I did say that when we looked at this, I would give you my Tesla stock price prediction. So here I have the projections. You can see from last year, 2022, and delivery targets and revenues and profits and all that kind of stuff, and EPS for the entire year, 362. Stock price, it closed in December at $123. The last trading day in December, that was the closing price. And then when we come up to 2023, I have this projected at 316. When we take the 70 cents per share that I expect in Q1 and multiply it by 4, that's 280. So I do believe that we will see some strength come back to the stock price based on the projections that I have. That's if we hit the delivery target. Now, I made a full commentary over at the Patreon, and I don't mean to keep on plugging it, but I do want to say that there's a lot that I just don't have time for to put into this video about all the assumptions for this. But keep in mind, I do have some of that commentary down here on the bottom of the spreadsheet. So take these numbers with a grain of salt, if you will. However, I do believe, because of some compensatory measures that I put into it, that they are conservative values. Check out the stock price that I have. So these are all end-of-year values with the exception to this one. This is one of the previous closing prices that we've had recently of 186. As a matter of fact, it is possible that if Tesla continues like it does with all the price cuts, and we have a weak end to 2023, that this value could actually end up being a little bit strong. However, when you look at 2024's year end, it becomes a little bit cleaner, a little bit prettier. And now these calculations that we have, if we look at that, I'm only using a 12% margin to calculate these values. So as the rest of their businesses improve, and as if they're able to improve their margins, especially if they come out with the lower cost EVs and they keep on taking advantage of economy of scale, these values could be something that could be much elevated. And on top of that, they're also cut down by declining PE values when we look at that. But when you look at the PEG ratios that I use, this also brings us down to a PEG ratio of 1, and that's trading at a multiple of 39 for that price to earnings that we see there. So I think that this is a fairly good projection that we have, probably one of the most complete that you'll see on the internet out there. And here I have it for you. And like I said, I believe these are not bearish values. You can tell that because when you look at 2030, we are up significantly from where we're at right now, between 5 and 6 times above where they're currently trading. So I think that that's highly important to pay attention to that value. And this is why I continue to be bullish on Tesla stock. And like I said, there are a bunch of assumptions that are in here. I don't have time to go through all of them here, but I did go through them in more detail in my other video, my Patreon exclusive video that is available over at the Discord. Now, I'm sorry, not in Discord. Discord, you can chat with me, my community members over there, but I mean on Patreon, which is going through Patreon, how you access the Discord. So here we are looking at the Tesla stock chart. And you can see from these lines that I drew previously from the wedge pattern that we had forming up, and that used to narrow about here, and I had these lines of resistance drawn for us based on their delivery numbers. It went pretty well, and we've sort of kept on going with that, and now we're narrowing again. I think that it is time that we start to test out these lines of support and resistance that we have on the chart. We got about 2% up and down. We are smack dab in the middle of support and resistance, and honestly, I can't imagine that the earnings per share that we get from Tesla, the earnings that we see, their forward guidance, I think there's going to be a big move coming up, and I think that we see the stock getting poised exactly for that big move to take place. I don't know that we have big enough catalysts to really move the market in dramatic ways that the market itself is going to have a big enough influence on Tesla to throw that off. So having that one more trading, I think tomorrow's that day to really get positioned. And remember, none of this is financial advice. It's just talking about opportunities that might exist out there. So for this, not knowing which way the stock price is going to go, if I had to guess, my bias would be to the downside. So I would be leaning more towards puts than calls on something on their earnings call that's coming up, and we'll see if that plays out. However, let's say that they beat all estimates that are out there, that they're significantly able to control costs enough to counter the cuts that they've put to their vehicle prices. Well, then we could honestly see some pretty incredible results coming out of this. So time will tell which way that goes. But I do believe that Tesla stock should be getting your attention in this immediate future. So with my Tesla stock price predictions, I think that there's a long play here to be had, and it keeps me bullish on Tesla. And from what I see in the charts with the narrowing that we have of this, as a matter of fact, before I leave this chart and before I wrap things up, I do want to just draw this on here quickly. So from this top, there we go. And it's not going to be perfect. Yeah, I know it leaves that part out of there. Basically, I want to show the narrowing that we have. This is going to be a much cleaner line across the bottom. There we go. Catch that minor peak that we have there. And that's generally what we have with a little bit of exceptional price action that we have here. And that was coming right around Tesla deliveries, and then it sold off since those delivery numbers that we've had, and really worrying about that demand issue for Tesla. So in the short term, I'll say this for their earnings. In the short term, in the immediate term, I'll be really surprised if Tesla's able to really take that hit to revenue like they did from the cuts that they've had, and from the price cuts on their AVs, I should say, and really turn it into exceedingly good profitability across the bottom line. I think that they will have cost savings. I think it'll come in above my conservative number of 70 cents per share for generally accepted accounting principles for the GAAP EPS. So short term, I think we see a price drop. I think that creates significant opportunity, and it puts me most likely as a buyer of the stock. Even if I do puts for earnings themselves, I still think that's something that not only can I capitalize on a possible price drop, however, but that I can sell that off, and that helps to fund those shares on the way back up as well. So for me, dollar cost averaging approach for Tesla over time. And, I've given you my projection on that. And like I said, if you want to see the full thing, check out the Patreon. That's over there for you. One other thing that I did tell you that I have is this offer for Moomoo. You can get 15 free stocks by finding that link down in the description. And all you got to do is sign up and deposit $100 more. You get 5 free stocks and access to their free premium courses if you're trying to take your trading game to the next level and understand more of what's going on with stock prices in the market itself. Their courses, they are very expansive and super helpful. And then for $1,000 more, you get 15 free stocks with those same free premium courses. And you can also take part in the financial literacy US paper trading competition, where you can get up to a $1,500 cash coupon and 1 month of Bazinga Pro for free should you be the winner of that competition. There are other prizes available if you check out the details of that. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed my commentary. Hit the like button and subscribe button. Ring that notification bell to see anytime my videos come out. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. We'll see you in the next video.